Ah, it's been a few days, but I'm glad to be back here on the server, and I think there's been a lot of development around here. So I've been away dealing with some stuff IRL, but now I'm back, and yes, it appears that Eclipse has been very hard at work. This looks amazing. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything. That looks amazing. But I heard some rumors and some things that I did not like to hear, that something broke around here. I've been decorating the entrance, trying to make this look good. I made a better like walkway going upwards. But yeah, our cobble gen is gone. Because I guess chunks? I believe it's a chunk issue. Yeah, and the machine kind of disappeared. It's fine, just some barrels and some funnels and a threshold switch, so it shouldn't be that hard to remake. But we're now pretty much all out of cobble, so yeah, kind of need to make this again. But I think there's something we need to address before we continue with this, because I've been getting messages that something is not going well in the colony. I believe people are starving, so I grabbed a bunch of food so I can bring them over here to the people. So hopefully... Oh, what? What? Oh. There's a windmill now. Huh. And there's a bunch of flickering arrows, so I guess we don't miss it. Who made that? Why? Our colony looks good, and now we have that. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna check my shop, see if I made any sales. I haven't. That's so sad. And that is even... I'm just gonna ignore it. So I don't know how our colony has been. I heard a lot of people have been dying in the colony because I don't know, our cards are not keeping up with this. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, things have been developing a little bit. I believe we have a new shop on the server. Okay, we have that one over there. I believe that's Rangers. It's like Rangers Rocket Station. Which if we pay... Oh, he's been getting a lot of money. It's a diamond a stack, so I kind of need a few of them. So let's just get some real quick and see how this works. We got 2, and did they pop out here? Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. I love that. That's a really nice design. And I believe all the other way over here. Yes, we have Uber3's tree shop. Yeah, and he made this in combination with MineColonies, which I love, by the way. And he made it into a forester's hut. So basically, I believe he has a forester guy, which is all the way over there. This is Xavier. That's a weird name. But then we have a little wolf here, and basically that guy cuts the trees for him, and then he processes them over here, which is kind of nice. I love that idea. And hopefully he will actually get a lot more like logs and all the tree types over here, because this is a really cool idea and a really cool way of making the forester integration with Create. So I love this shop. I really do. Well, this explains why they don't have or people have been dying, because this is our guard. He doesn't even have a sword. I guess people just ignore like the clipboards that's telling them to give a lot of stuff to the colony. No. I guess that's my job apparently. Okay. Oh yeah, and these railroads or rail tracks is actually something I helped Uber with, because he was planning out his tree forester thingy, but the builder kind of had to walk through water and stuff like that, so we made this temporary area so they could just ride a cart and go into his area. And oh my god, I forgot about that. So I guess I'll have to spend some time over here in the colony trying to fix things and ignoring that windmill. And I also need to check on my other shop in Colony Azure, because I believe things have been going on here. So maybe people have been buying or using our services over here in the dye shop or the paint shop. Hey, 5 diamonds that we need to split with Ranger. So I guess we'll wait for it to turn into 10 diamonds, because that's easier to split. But hey, before all of that and all of this going forward into the rest of the episode, there was actually a meeting that we held on the colony to discuss some plans and actually letting me improve the colony a lot more.
Have a meeting on the crane like half an hour ago. Where is everybody?
What do you mean, where is everybody?
What?
What do you mean? You're the one who's late.
I didn't get the cardboard memo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were sent here. It's kind of stuck.
I regret jumping off the crane. And don't have an elytra on.
Uber's late.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
At least he wasn't uber late.
So the colony has been having some issues.
Mm.
A lot of
Issues.
people. Yeah, a lot of people
think
been
the colony-
dying.
But the colony's looking great. It's just that we're missing the top of the town hall there.
Yeah, he can't finish it because he needs an item that only a mechanic's hut can make. But in order for us to get a mechanic's hut, we need a university to research it. So yeah, we need to place some infrastructure around here.
We need to educate our colonists.
Yeah, they're very dumb, very dumb. I got a bunch of blocks here that we can try and figure out where we want to like place them, like some more guard towers, residence, the university, a mine, or maybe a mine, some farms, so that people can actually do stuff around here. And we also had an issue that we need to figure out where we want to have our like a dock area, because me and Cal want to make some things go happen here. Then we want to make the train station, so we should start planning that, because without planning,
sure. I guess
nothing works.
I guess you guys want to connect your like harbors and stuff to this MineColony via ships.
Yeah,
That's the goal there.
Yep.
And we also in the last episode we also planned the railroad station during the previous meeting that we had with Azure Colony as well.
yeah. But that's like on the other side of this area, like all the way down there. So we need to like make roads and plan things all the way up there. Now, after a lot of jumping around and debating, we actually found a pretty decent place where we wanted to place our train station. Me and Cal discussed a little bit of where the docks would go, and then we just went ahead and placed a bunch of the buildings that I had in mind, so we could actually have some structure going into the colony. And now I can actually like dedicate a little bit more of my time to actually expand it and make it a lot less dependent on us. So hopefully they survive longer, which spoilers, they are not yet. So as the first thing that I've done today, I went around and upgraded a lot of stuff around the colony, mainly our food situation over here, because we had this setup right here with this little cow that I got from Ranger. It's basically using large bottles to grab by large bottles of milk. Then the large bottles of milk go into that crafter, which automatically crafts the items into yogurt, and then recycles the bottle back into the deployer, and then it just cycles on through. Now we do have a bunch of yogurt sitting here, but most importantly we have it sitting over here on this drawer. And then I added this little berry farm, the berry bush farm. Why? Because this, together with the yogurt, actually gives us access to yogurt with berries, which is a really good food for the mine colony. But I don't want to be the one that's crafting that, so I made myself a cookery over here where we have Gianna, and I taught her how to make this. So I even taught her how to make baked salmon, which is garlic and salmon, and I taught her the yogurt berries. So basically, to teach the recipe, you just go into here, put the recipe, and click done. That's it. That's literally all you have to do. And now she knows how to make yogurts with berries, and she also knows how to make baked salmon, which is good because in the last episode we put on the fishery. Oh well, today, I guess it was still today. I mean, it's been a while for me, guys. But we did make the fishery over here, where the guy just keeps fishing a lot of salmon. And I also had it over here to the farmer over on this side, a pot to farm garlic, so we can make that. Now I am expanding a little bit more with more residents, another careers hut. I'm expanding the university over there. I'm placing some barracks. So I'm taking this time to just, well, make the colony safer and work a lot better. Because, well, as I just realized, if I'm not here, well, everybody dies. Which is fine, which is perfectly fine, because we do have the colony to just keep refilling with babies, so they just keep going, I guess, technically. So yeah, I guess it's fine, but I think it's time for us to focus on our stuff for today. And yes, I've come back and I've fixed my bunker over here, which is now pretty much complete. And let's take a look around. We have our little wolf over here, which still has no name, which has access to all the items that we're producing. We have the cobblestone generator, we have the iron generator, we have the andesite generator. Over here we have a flint and clay generator, and this is a very important one. And we'll also get flint from here, as you can see. They're also a very important one. And then if we go upstairs, we have a bunch more stuff going on. So what's happening over here? Very quickly, we have a limestone generator, which is basically just using honey with lava, which you can see here. And that makes it into limestone. Then I have a couple of belts that take the items into here. Very simple, just the same as you would do with water. The only thing is that, well, you cannot honey log stuff, so you gotta let like the honey flow to the maximum, which is 4 blocks, so it's not even that far. Afterwards we have our granite and we have our diorite section. This is also a very important one because I do intend on sell and use a lot of these blocks, so this is a really good one. And this one is pressing down the flint that comes from the first floor, and red sand and then lava, and this one is using calcite with flint and of course lava. Now the lava situation, as we saw from the last video, comes from this beautiful lava tank. And over here we have an andesite alloy, which is just basically putting the iron and the andesite from below into the andesite alloy, so I have a stock of it. And now for the other pieces, we do need to get the red sand and the calcite, right? So the calcite comes from here. And here is gravel with calcium rich powder, and those come from here. So basically the limestone gets sent into this millstone, which automatically makes the calcium powder and suspicious rock. Suspicious rock is not being used for anything. The calcium powder is to make the calcite over there. And then I just had to get some cobblestone from below over here to also get us a lot of gravel, so that this guy will always have gravel to process. And then we have this setup over here. So basically we have the clay below, which sends the clay into that barrel, and then it gets cooked, even though it's a very slow process that I have for cooking. I guess I can't even reach there, but it is a very, very slow process that I have in terms of cooking here, because it's only like a funnel, or a chute, I should say. So it's only cooking 16 items at a time, so it's very slow, but it's perfectly fine, because then it's sending it into this side to make red sand, and the red sand is then sent over there to make the granite. So these are all the automations that I have for blocks, and I do intend on making like a shop to sell a bunch of these things, which, well, maybe it will get me some nice profits, you know. And then I made this area up here where I added some extra automations, but these ones are manual. So I have an extra grindstone area over here, which are a crushing wheel area, where I can use to make some straws and some rice from my other farms. And we have this painting section where I can use to make slime balls. And over here we have a washing setup, which can be used to make dough. So I guess you can see where I'm going with this, right? I do have a wheat farm, which I can crush over there, and then I can wash, and then I can paint with lime dye, and basically I have infinite slime balls, which is amazing. And then on the other side, I also wanted to add some of the extra automations that we didn't have so far, like bulk freezing, which doesn't have that many like options to do, but I thought about doing it. And we also have the conduit power one, which is, this is a good one. This is definitely a good one. So the bunker here is now full powered, working flawlessly so far, which hopefully it's good. I do have an extra limestone farm, so the limestone will not come from here. So I guess because this one is always empty. Yeah, it's always empty because for some reason this millstone never fills up. It just never fills up. I don't know what's happening to the suspicious rock. I guess maybe if I remove this powder and then I don't know, just void it or something like that, just try and get rid of it, because it's not producing suspicious rock. I guess now it is, but it wasn't just doing anything, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's going to stop now, hopefully. Well, that being said, if I want anything, I could just ask from my doggo over here and he will get me even the iron, the cobblestone, the andesite. I still need to hook up the granite and the diorite. I thought I had. I don't. Okay, I still need to hook those up. But yeah, this is a pretty cool system and I really like it. But yeah, my chest situation, yeah, it's not great. It is not great. Hopefully we can do something. It's not going to be today, but hopefully we can do something on the next episode, because this is getting quite out of hand. There's even some other chests. I guess you can't quite see them from here. There's some other extra chests all the way over there. Yep, there they are. So yeah, I got a bunch of junk everywhere and I kind of need a centralized storage for this. But today my main focus is to get a drill up and running, because I don't have. I've never had a drill myself. I've just used, well, other people's drills. But I would say that more than just a drill, I kind of needed to do more than just make a hole. You see, this is Jason's drill, and it's fine and that for mining, but I need my drill to do a little bit more than just mine. And for example, there's even this type of drill, which is for sure trying to compensate for something, but we'll ignore that. But it also just mines, and I do need something that's a little bit better than that. But you see, everybody's using rails to carry their drills around, and well, I want mine to be a little bit different, you know, because there's a lot of things that having it on a minecart contraption helps, you know, mainly transportation and stuff like that. But mine drill is gonna be a bit better than the rest of them, because I want to make mine into train tracks. So I want to turn it into a train. Now, this of course requires us to assemble train tracks, which require a bunch of iron and some slabs and a press. So I do need to have this in mind and try and set this up. And of course I also need to do some brass casings and sturdy sheets. So I also need to set this thing up. So I guess I do have a little bit of planning to do. So I added over here in this corner there with lava 2 mechanical presses, which means I can now put some powdered obsidian and then press it down into making some sturdy sheets, which are going to be very handy to make all of the terrain related components. And now we're only missing train tracks, which I do have the nuggets here and I do have the power. I would have to cook stone into making it, so let's see what I can come up with. And for the train tracks over here, we have this setup. So we do have 2 deployers that are now connected to my network with these 2 packagers, filling in them with a stack of iron nuggets. Then we have the press, and as you can see, I already tested it. We have a saw here cutting into slabs. Then we have this brass tunnel, which has a filter for regular stone. And then all I'm missing is to make sure that I have at least a stack of cobblestone being sent into this barrel, which should come any second now. That one, yep, there we go, which is going to put some cobblestone right there. Gonna let it cook, and then as soon as it gets cooked, it's gonna get processed into here. Now I know this is not the fastest setup in the world, but it's not meant to be the fastest setup in the world, so I don't consume all my iron and all my cobblestone. It's only to have a passive generation of train tracks. Well, I guess making that a brass tunnel is gonna make it a little bit better. that being said, we now have the final piece of the puzzle, which is tough blocks, because I want to decorate stuff with tough. So now we have it automated, just using andesite and cobblestone and then lava that comes from upstairs. So pretty easy, pretty simple. Now I did notice that our iron reserves are going slightly down. We ran out of clay and ran out of flint, but that's fine because we're producing a lot of stuff. But what I'm realizing is that I'm using more iron than I'm producing at the moment, just barely, but it is actually happening. So until I have like 131,000 andesite alloy, the iron reserves will be depleting. The same with the red sand, which means that terracotta will be depleting, and the limestone will always be depleting, but that's fine. And since I made this last night and it's now the new day, we have 70,000 train tracks. I think this is more than enough. And of course, this also uses iron nuggets, so that's why our iron nuggets is also being depleted. But this should not take that long to fill up, and afterwards we should be getting iron up again. But now that we have the train tracks, we have that, and we have the things to do train casings, we are now ready to move into the train production. So let's actually start planning this out. So I wanted to move just a little bit away from all the other things that were happening so I can get some more frames, so we can now actually start building this properly. Now I want to make this just a tiny little bit bigger so we have some space, and I'm gonna make the basic design for it, and then I can just copy it into a schematic and then place it where it's gonna be needed. Now I have a general idea of what I want to do. I have no clue of what it's gonna look like, you know, because yeah, that's how I make stuff happen most of the time. But so first things first, we gotta place down a train station, because this is basically what's going to allow us to now create a new train. And afterwards we get a train casing, and boom, we got our first bogie. Kind of nice. Now I want this to be at least 4 bogies in length, but that's gonna mean that I really need to try and make it look decent, I guess. So that's gonna be like the middle row, then we're gonna have another one, and I guess we can then have the other bogey. Yeah, I think that'll look okay. So this, and the bogey goes there, and it does this, like so. And then I want to extend this further a couple of blocks. You're going to see why in just a second. And I think this is a good space for the first like carriage, I guess. Though I might need to make it wider, because this thing is gonna be chunky. So very basically, this is the drill, and it looks weird, right? I know, but it's hopefully going to be very, very functional. Now, I'm not going to use a complete wall of things here, of drills here, because if I just move the drills back there, as you can see, it allows us to actually be able to look through this area forward, and without like having to use F5 or free cam to see where we're going, you can actually just look here, and the drills that would be there, they're all the way up here, and they're breaking any blocks that might come into contact with us, which is perfectly fine. Now I do need to decorate this, and I'm also still like playing around with placements of stuff, because I really don't know how big this has to be, because we have the drills there, those do an appropriate amount of drilling. We have rollers down here that's going to be replacing the floor. As you can see, I have 7 rollers here. I'm going to be setting them all to either tough or, I don't know, cobble, gravel, one of those. And then we have a bunch of deployers around here, and these deployers are actually going to be placing walls. Now if I go back here, you can probably see that I have deployers facing all the blocks from the last line of drills. So this line, we'll put that line over there, and then we have these 2 at the top which do the corners, and then we have this row of 5 that do the top layer. Now I'm gonna have to filter all of these out to put like the blocks that I want them to put, because this is gonna be my tunnel making area, which we can actually toggle on if we use these things. So I'm actually gonna like go with something like this, I guess. We don't even have 4 contraption types, we only have 3. But it's fine. I guess we put the drills here because that's the one that makes the most sense. We have this one because we can want to toggle that on and off easily. And we're going to put the rollers there so we now have them all connected. And basically if I toggle this on, well, not like that because the train is not assembled. If I click this button while the train is assembled, it's going to power off the deployers, which means it's not going to be making tunnels. Because there might be some sections, or maybe if I use this like over here in the overworld or something like that and I don't want to make a tunnel, I can just use this as it is and it will just dig. It will not place any blocks. So it's very, very cool. I do need to place a seat. I do need to decorate it. I have a bunch of vaults to pick up everything that this thing drops, and then we need to try and make a collection system somewhere. I also didn't really think much about that, but that's how gonna happen in the second area over there. The first one is mostly going to be for me to place some drawers. I believe I can connect this to some drawers that are going to be feeding these deployers mostly. And then at the back, I'm going to put an item vault that's hopefully going to stock everything. And this should really only ever be like the drill of my dreams, because I don't think I'll ever need to make another drill after this one, because it's going to do pretty much everything I needed to do. I may even have a couple of these set up in the world, one up here at the surface and one at the bottom, because yes, we are going to be making tunnels all the way around here over there, because our boats need to go somewhere. But you know what? Before I try and decorate and see if I actually need this, because I'm thinking it might be a conflict. I don't know if these drills can connect there. I hope they can. Hopefully they can, but let's just see firstly if I can even assemble this with 4 bogies. That one doesn't matter. I guess I can actually disassemble and get these guys back before we do anything else. Can I even break them? Oh boy. I guess that works. Okay, let's assemble it again. Okay, it is now assembled. We have a seat here. We have train controls go both ways. Now, if I do F5 and I right click on the controls, are we going forward? Oh, we are. Oh, yes, we're going forward. We're going backwards. We're doing everything. I see all of the machines moving, which is perfect. And now, let me see. I want to toggle off this and the drills. And I guess we can leave off the rollers. And now if I do this and we move, yes, only the rollers move. Ah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So to test this out, I glued that guy together. So hopefully it's gonna be connected now in terms of being a train. It is. And I've placed these blocks over here just to see if it can break them. And more importantly, what would happen now? Oh, I have the drills toggled off. Derp. Let's put the drills back on, and it did break them. And I don't think they're here. No, okay. Yeah, that would not work. So any type of storage that I want to do needs to be in a single like carriage. It doesn't connect to this carriage. And there it is, the drill in all its glory. Now, as it stands, I could spend more time decorating it, but I think it looks pretty decent, you know? I like the top a lot. I really like what I did there. So I wish I had a better plan going into it, because it probably would have looked a lot better. I think it looks cool, you know? What do you guys think about it? But most importantly is the inside of this, which we have 2 vaults on the sides, and we have a bunch of drawers. Now, hopefully these drawers work as I want them to work, because I want to put like tuff and gravel and like, I don't know, cobblestone and stuff like that in these drawers and void them. And then like ores and all those things would go and end up in these item vaults, and then we can later take them out for these portable storage interfaces, where I'll just pretty much try and get a setup going where I would unload my my drill here, or my train, because this is, well, a train, But, well, it's not really gonna be running here, because, well, this is not doing anything over here. So I do need to take it down below to where I wanted to dig stuff out. And I also need to set up the item filters there. So I'm probably gonna have to spend a little bit of time going around here trying to put all the filters in. And so now I actually put in some things into these drawers, but okay, since they're in the contraption, I don't think that thing can read it. I guess we can try it out. So if we F5 now, you can see there's nothing around us and the deployers are off. I've put the deployers on and there's nothing being placed. Do I maybe need to move? Okay, so it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't read the inventories from these drawers. So I guess I'll have to make it another way. Okay, I wish it did. That's unfortunate, because you can see if I take this off, yeah, you can see that I have them here. So I guess that will not work as intended. So I guess for now, just to test it, I can use this to put items into the vaults here, like so, as you can see now as the stuff. So if we just assemble the train, there we go. So it placed them, and yep, it placed them perfectly. So all of them are now placed. Now I'm still debating, like here, putting in frog lights, and I think I will, because I do have a frog light farm, but it's gonna like consume so many frog lights, so I'll have to be careful with that. But I think I want to move this. So in order for me to move this right now, I'm gonna take a schematic of it without the bogies, or I guess I can leave the bogies in there. But I want to take a schematic of this, and afterwards I'm actually just gonna pick it up with a minecart because it's easier. So I came all the way down here and placed the drill, and then I dug a little bit of a tunnel and put some rails, and it goes a little bit further, then turns to the right. And I'm basically using this map from here to judge where I'm gonna make my turns, because I know I want to make this connect to cow and I want to make this connect to eclipses. So we gotta like come up with ways of doing that, but at the moment I just want to test it out. As we can see, it turns around here. It's probably very dark for you guys, but yeah, so basically if you see the red area, the red dots here, that's basically the turn. Now of course it's a train, so it actually doesn't turn that harshly, because you know it's a softer curve there. But I'm gonna let the drill do the work now. So let's hope this works. I've only have the drills on, and that broke. Okay, let's try again, and forward. Yes, it is a success, and I believe we can just look through here, and yeah, though you can see that even those get destroyed by those drills over there, which is pretty cool. And I think we can now just do this and watch it look. Yep. There he goes. Now it is of course super close in some areas to like the drill itself, but if you pull backwards, we should now be able to admire the work of the drill over here. So let's take a look. Yeah, this is a good tunnel. Yeah, this seems very good. It could be taller, but I think this works. I think this works for our trains, or any trains that we may have here on the server. So I think this is a pretty good drill. Well, there seems to be some issues here. You see this curve? This curve doesn't do what I thought it would do, because as you can see, there's like this entire area that it should have, well, been broken, but it wasn't. So I wonder what's up with that. And besides, whenever you're actually running it, it leaves some blocks in the middle as well for some reason. I think it might have to do with server stuff, because it doesn't do it in survival normally, but I think it's not really enjoying like being a contraption and moving, because every time I make a curve, it leaves some blocks floating and they end up hitting me because I end up like going through them. Even though technically it should really break every single block. Fortunately, it only happens in curves, so that can be avoided by going back and forth a couple of times. But sometimes it's like right in the middle here, there's a block that kind of squeezes between the drills, and that's not good. That's not good. So I need to come up with a solution, or if you guys have a solution, let me know, or I'll probably have to discuss with the people on the server to see what we can do about it. But so everybody, with all of that done today and me coming back to making videos, well, that's a lot to do, a lot more to plan and a lot more to come. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and as always, see ya in the next one. Bye.